What's going on, guys? Welcome back. So I wanted to make a more technical video because I'm going to be going over how I run and how I structure my multiple different businesses. As you guys know, I run a remote acquisition firm. So I acquire specifically remote digital businesses or just things that I can run remotely. Okay. Because some of my businesses are physical, meaning they have physical services, but I run them remotely, at least my portion of the business. So if you guys are more interested in specifically how I run this business model, because it does make me a combined total of around $100,000 to $120,000 every single month, I'm going to leave a link to a detailed breakdown, including case studies of how myself and my students are making more than $1 million this year alone in cash collected, just by literally copying and pasting the model and the frameworks that I have outlined. So specifically at the moment, I have a total of around 7 different businesses that I have a hold on in multiple different ventures. And what I like to do is I like to have all of this played out in a sort of, I guess you could say, laid out style. I usually make this type of board. I'll leave a link to it if enough comments want it. But I make a simple Figma board. This is Figma Miro board that has a specific structure for all the different businesses that I run. So for every single business, I have a breakdown of how much we're generating currently, the daily goals that I personally am accountable for. And this top section is specifically for the operators of the businesses, but I don't want to out anybody. So usually for here, I would write Mario, and let's say my partner's name was John and he does ads, right? I would say John ads and whatever other partners that I have in that business. For example, for this credit solution business, I would write here on the top, write myself, and then the operator or service delivery person, right? Because all of them that I'm doing here is I'm running ads myself. So Mario ads. And then over here, I have an operator. Okay. So and he does fulfillment. There we go. And that's exactly how I write down the top of this portion right here. And then right here, this was a little bit of a goal for each one when I started this year, which is pretty crazy to look back at, but I structure all of them the following way. So I have this is actually not the main copy. This is actually just a template that I have right here because I don't want to, again, have my critical information here, but I like to lay out specifically what they were currently generating at that time. This is at the beginning of the year. And I wanted to specifically outline in the bottom of each and every single section what exactly I'm entitled to do. As you can see here, these are some of the daily tasks that I have. I organize them by exactly what I need to do every single day right here. So CEO daily, I review revenue, all ad spend, and basically calculate my profit on a daily basis. I have calls, or I either have calls or texts with each and every single business partner that I have in each and every single one of these ventures. Specifically when I work with founders or the people that I acquire equity in their business from, we're usually very, very close in terms of the communication. So we have a call maybe once a week, but we're texting constantly every single day. And then obviously I check deal flow and lead flow across all the different businesses that I have and check for different metrics. So for my SaaS business, I check the traffic that we're running because we're running organic marketing campaigns. So it's a little bit different to track. This is for my info, right? This is organic as well. SaaS is organic as well. And then for remote acquisitions, which is this, right? It's obviously post 1 video per day, which I'm kind of lagging behind on. And then obviously for my landscaping business that I run remotely, just monitoring the ads and having daily organic posts, which I have a virtual assistant doing. And I forgot to mention that I have a virtual assistant helping me with the stuff that is delegatable. So my virtual assistant has a copy of all of this basically that I'm supposed to be following up with every single day. And she kind of tackles everything that's in between in the weaves that I don't necessarily have access to. And she sends me a report every single day for my daily tasks. So it's very important that you have this if you're running a your own remote acquisition firm, because the fact is you're going to get lost. Like, you will get lost running all these different type of businesses. And I know for me, when I first started and I went from one venture to another, I was kind of losing track, and businesses would start to dwindle a little bit here and there. Maybe we were making $80,000 per month in my SaaS business, but as soon as I started focusing on something else, revenue dwindled on my SaaS business, and I couldn't necessarily scale to further heights because of the fact that you can only have so much focus. So my focus was divided and across a bunch of different ventures. So what I teach with remote acquisition is very, very simple. Because with remote acquisition, a lot of people think, oh, you know, a lot of the things that I get recently is, how do you have time? Because if you're running an acquisition firm, traditionally, what it used to happen is that you had to have a big team tackling a bunch of different things. So it's not operating. You are not an operator, right? That's the biggest thing when you're running a remote acquisition firm, because you are remote. Okay. Because what we're doing is remote. The fact is that you can have just one skill can transfer across all these different ventures. So although your focus is on all these different businesses at once, your one skill multiplied in all these different businesses. So you're only doing one thing across all these different businesses. Does that make sense? So you're not necessarily going out and deviating your focus. You're still locked in the same, industry, I guess you could say, in the same niche for every single one of these industries, for every single one of your businesses. For me, it's YouTube. I do YouTube, or specifically marketing, for all of these different businesses, right? Whether it's paid ads for home service or whether it's organic content. Okay. So that's exactly how I go ahead and structure this, because I get a lot of freaking questions, especially now that I'm running ads and I have people reaching out to me on Instagram. When you're running a remote acquisition firm, you have to lay out everything that you're doing. Because if you don't lay it out, and it's just in your head, you're going to get lost. I would get all this information, plug it into ChatGPT, and have it write down the daily tasks for you to do. And keep in mind that once you get a VA and once you start generating around $10,000 per month in profit from your remote acquisition, from all of your collective businesses, I would instantly hire a virtual assistant for like $500, $300, $400 a month. And they can tackle the baby stuff and kind of give you reports daily to make it a little bit easier, because your job is going to be focused on your one skill that you're going to be using to scale these multiple different businesses. And that is when everything starts to get a lot simpler. So this is how I would go ahead and structure and kind of have a roadmap of each and every single one of your businesses to make sure that you don't lose track. Remember, you're using one skill across multiple different businesses, not the other way around where you're an operator in each and every single one and you're a full-fledged business partner. You are a business partner, but you're not necessarily a business operator for every single one of these businesses. Okay. So if you have any questions, drop them below and I'll make sure to make a video on it tomorrow.